Warning, the following audio transmission is based on theory and is intended for entertainment purposes only. It's Doomsday and its affiliates will not be held liable for anything your dumbass does. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everybody, to It's Doomsday Podcast Live. Today is January 30th, 2023. Time is 18:01, and joining me, as always, is the lovely, the talented, the ever-so-sensual Jake Dials. What's going on, man?
Okay, look, here's the deal. Soup's getting cold, but the crackers are still hot, okay? Crackers still hot.
Okay, I have no idea what that means. What do you mean the soup is cold, but the crackers are still hot?
You know the thing.
Oh, the thing. Yeah, I know the thing.
You could train a pumpkin in karate. It doesn't make him a soldier, does it?
On a Tuesday, maybe?
Pumpkin.
Anyway, I'm so lost. Welcome, everybody, to It's Doomsday Podcast, guys. Welcome into the show. So far in here, I've got, let's see, we've got the Jake Dials. We've got Ozarks with Have Food Will Travel podcast. We've got Jelly Six, just a minute too. Eric the Podfather, Big Daddy Prep, a.k.a. Big Daddy Al, from the Big Daddy Al podcast. Shelby Jack, I don't know how to say this name. I'm just going to call you Queef. Sorry, dude. And Angela. What's up, everybody? Welcome in.
Well, let's just call him.
I'm reading the name, and that's all that came out. And friend, I know that these are random generated names. It's just random names and numbers. Podbean got you today. They did a good burn on you, my friend. What's up, Chris Wilson? Welcome in. Man, I am in a I took a nap and I woke up and I was all tired and groggy. And I'm like, I don't want to do anything. And I got down here and I started playing with the Looperman thing. And I had my wife come down today, and I got something, man.
Oh, are you going to play it for us?
I am going to play it. I just made it. Let me see here. Oh, that's not it.
Keep going, though. Keep going.
Shit, that's not it either. Damn it, man. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, here it is. I forgot to add it in here. Here it is. You ready for this? I like this.
You can find It's Doomsday Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean app, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn plus Alexa, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Listen Notes, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, and many more. Make sure to like, follow, and share.
I'm hooked on it, dude. I'm hooked on the Looper,
Was
man.
that your voice?
Yeah. Oh, so I have this weird ability to make myself sound like a Greek woman. I don't know how I did it. It's magic.
Wow.
Anyway, so if you guys don't know, if you're not running with us in this close circle we have, and I know for everybody, okay, so It's Doomsday Podcast doesn't have hundreds and thousands of listeners all over the world. It doesn't. They're not there. But we have thousands of listeners all over the world. We're not quite in the 10,000s of listeners mark yet, but there's thousands of peoples out there, and they're all over the place. And a lot of them don't show up for the live stuff or end up in the Podbean or end up following us around on social media, things like that. So if you guys don't know, Jake has been plugging away, working his little Jake arse off on doing this apocalyptic cyborg AI story.
Yeah.
Which has been quite fantastic. I screwed up the chapters. I'm hella lost now. I have to go back and start from the beginning.
Dude, they're not even chapters. They're just character breakdowns. And then after the character breakdowns, the story.
Well, so this is where I screwed up. I read the first couple like blips you sent me, like when it was just like the paragraphs and the images. right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I've got chapter 1 knocked out. And then I go and I read the third one, not able to track down 2. I don't know how I lost 2 in the realm. I go back and I read 2, and I'm like, shit, I didn't get the whole picture in 1. What the hell happened? Because now Marcus is getting surgery and there's stuff going on, and I'm like, what did I miss from 1? So I got to go back. I got to start from the beginning.
Yeah, they're just character breakdowns, man. There's going to be a whole thing to this. I just did it for fun, and then everybody liked it, and they said, do more, and I was like, all right, fine. So I did.
So in spirit of cyborg-esque things and everything else that's going on, later in the week I'll be interviewing Tom Ross. If you guys don't know who Tom Ross is, he is one of the bigwigs with the Transhumanist Party, as in AI, not as in I want to chop off body parts, transhuman, or that's transgender. Anyway, so if you guys have questions for Tom, definitely email them to me. The email is itsdoomsdaypodcast@gmail.com. Drop me an email, put in the subject line, question for Tom. He has no problem answering listener questions that come in, and I want as many good ones as possible to send in him. So if you're listening to this episode and it's Wednesday morning, you're already going to be too late. Sorry, guys. You better get those in, like, if you wake up at 7 a.m. and you hear this show, you better get those emails sent to me, because I'll be interviewing him a couple hours after the fact. All right, so now that that's out of the way, we got Rifle came in, Mags came in. What's up, guys? Welcome in. But I figured, to kind of, oh, thank you, Ozarks. I figured in order to keep up with this spirit, I figured maybe we should get into a little bit more of the AI stuff today.
Dude, I like right now, speaking of AI and cyborgs, you're firing all of your lasers right now. This is fantastic.
He said lasers. We're talking AI.
All your freaking lasers on your freaking head.
Freaking lasers, man. Freaking sharks with freaking laser beams on their heads. So I discovered something really wickedly awesome and scary at the same time over the weekend.
Oh.
All right. And I'm going to tell you guys about this stuff, because I really don't feel that we should currently have this technology. This isn't something as bad as the GPT chat, something like that, but the applications for this could potentially be endless. Excuse me. It is called MTPM. All right. And this is a special new metal that they are developing. Okay. And they're utilizing it to make metal robots, liquid metal robots. Now, what these robots can do is they could assume a shape. All right. And they could melt down basically by shooting magnetic waves at them. Basically, they keep switching the magnetic poles aimed toward these robots, and it causes their little magnetic cells inside to break down, and they turn into a liquid. There's a nice little video online where they made one in the shape of a Lego character, and this little sucker melts down, goes through the bars, and comes back together like some Terminator shit.
This is not the program.
All I hear is Terminator.
This is not the program you showed me. What you showed me, management and tourism program, something about tourism. What happened?
What are you talking about? It's exactly what I sent you.
You said, dude, have you ever heard of MTPM? And I said, no. And you said, here's a link. And you sent it to me. And it was like management and tourism practices of Missouri.
What? Why didn't you say something?
I did.
I would see what it was. Is, okay, Jake, you got me. I'm secretly moving all operations to Missouri. That's where Prep Stock's going to be held. I'm looking for a good tourist manager down there.
This whole time I did research on tourism program and it doesn't even matter?
Oh my God. So no, apparently I sent you the wrong link. I don't know how that happened, but yeah. So I mean, if you guys go online and you look this up, this stuff is pretty wild. Okay. And it's nothing more than a metal that breaks down at a certain temperature, and they could rebuild this when it cools back down. So like they're already talking medical applications for this. They're already kind of tested it in mock applications where this liquid would go in and form itself around an obstruction in your stomach or an obstruction in your intestines. and it would mold around it and make it easier to pass through the body. There's also applications where they're talking about they could put medicine within inside this, and it would make it to a certain part of the body, and they could shoot magnetic pole rays, I guess, through you and allow this to liquefy, releasing the medicine. Okay. Pretty wild stuff if you think about they're developing this right now.
That's just some T2 stuff, man. That's all it is.
Hey preppers, do you want 10% off survival food? Go to www.readywise.com and use code DOOM10 at checkout for 10% off all your survival food needs. Again, that's code DOOM10 at checkout at readywise.com, DOOM10 for 10% off at readywise.com.
It is.
And they demonstrated it with a little Lego man that went through a little grate, and before you know it, we're gonna have a full-fledged liquid titanium person going through jail cell bars in an institution looking for Sarah Connor.
So let me, you're right. I mean, it's definitely a far ways off from that. So let's get into the MPTM. What this stands for it has nothing to do with Missouri.
I learned so much for no reason, Jester.
I know. Well, hey, now you know more about Missouri, man.
I don't
it's awesome.
Like tourism management.
So it stands for magnetic. I can't say this word. Magnetoactive phase transitional matter. And it's really wild when you think about the potential applications that this could be used for. I mean, the industrial applications for this are endless, right? They are utilizing this right now. Like one video I saw, and this was really cool. They put this like on a freaking microchip board and had it work its way in there to complete circuits. Like it just goes in there, melts, and says, okay, that's where I'm staying. It hardens back up, and boom. We've just completed this circuit, and now there's a little LED light glowing. It's that, so the applications for this are endless. And one of the big things with this is you can potentially utilize this matter to get in places human beings could not go if it was toxic, if it was like a bad environment, confined space, things like that. So, the industrial complex is probably going to throw tons of funding at this, try to get this up and booming. And then we haven't even begun to think about the applications for war yet. Imagine the applications on the battlefield for this.
I was just going to say, what if you made a bullet that did the same thing, and when it made contact with flesh, it expanded, not like a hollow point, but like expands just outward until it just moves outside of your body and just tears you up.
Well, here's something to think about. Welcome in, Polly. Welcome in. I think I welcome Rifle, and welcome in, Morbid Prepper. I've never seen him here. Also, welcome Miss Melody. Welcome Joyce, and welcome Nana. Welcome in. So, Jake, imagine this one. Say you do make a bullet out of this, right? But you make a tiny little itty bitty, incy weensy little bullet. All right. Basically, I don't know, so small it would just basically feel like a bug bit you, right? Mm-hmm. And leave the tiniest little wound. And think about this. This melts at, I think the temperature this melts at, it's lower than human body temperature right now. So 86 degrees Fahrenheit is what this melts at. So you put a little bit of poison in this thing, a little bit of mercury. Somebody simply thinks they got bit by a bug. And then the next thing you know, they just randomly drop dead. And you're not talking, and this is controlled. You're not getting blood spatter. You're not having all these issues, right? So think about the assassination applications with this. Or, the assassination applications with this are also very scary, okay? You think about the idea that you could take a little tiny piece of this and put it in somebody's ice cream. They might not even know it's in there. It gets in their stomach, melts out, bam, done. It's scary.
Huh. It's almost like somebody would just die suddenly.
It would be like someone would. I see what you did there.
Oh, consider the implications.
Right. It is a very scary thing to think about. And they're actively working on different applications which, they can manipulate this, utilize this for medical, utilize this for industrial application. So I think that the military industrial complex would be next. I mean, it's the next logical choice, I think.
That's what you do all the time when you have something cool that you could use for good. You turn it into a weapon.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so my whole thought process with this is, you're going to take a metal, goes to liquid, transforms back and forth. Number one, the applications are endless, regardless in what capacity, but also the improvements we could make with things as far as maybe things within the space program, right?
Well,
that's a big one.
And imagine this. Like I said, everything good gets turned into a military weapon. Ozarks, you better be careful with those crab rangoons. Can you imagine weaponized crab rangoon?
Oh my God! Like, wait! Weaponized as in poisonous crab rangoons, or little, robot crabs within the rangoons?
put those little tiny Lego men that are shapeshifters in the crab rangoon.
Yes, and welcome in Amanda, welcome in Melody. I think I welcome Melody already, and welcome Cindy. What's up, guys? Welcome into the show. So Jake, and welcome Kate. So Jake, further thoughts on AI? Anything like kind of tickling your brain as you're in your cyborg world over there?
Dude, everything's tickling my brain about it. It's nuts. Are you kidding me? It blows my mind. I've told everybody that, and I said this is insane, and I mean it. It is. It's good and it's bad. Okay, like. So here's why I did what I did is I utilize this AI engine called Midjourney, and basically you can imagine anything that you want. So you come up with just a random idea inside your head, right? And it can be literally anything. You can say, I want you to generate a picture of a photorealistic Barbie with crab claws for hands and horns coming out of her head and just whatever you want. And it will generate it and it will make it look legitimate. Okay, so what I did, because I was just messing around, I said, give me a post-apocalyptic scenario where humans have fully integrated with AI technology and turn themselves into cyborgs.
Hey preppers, check out Blackbeard Fire Starters. Go to www.blackbeardfire.com/doomsday and utilize code doomsday for 10% off your entire order at blackbeardfire.com.
And they're struggling to survive. And I got sent all of, the photos that I sent to you. And I said, look at these. It's insane. And you said, yeah. And I said, okay, thanks for your input. And then I showed it to like 50 other people. And I just went on that. And I was like, you know what? This is kind of a crazy idea. I'm just going to take all of these and I'm just going to turn them into NFTs. So I did. And then I started to make them animated as like a step up, from just like a standard photo. And then I showed it to the community, and I said, guys, check these out. These are insane. This is nuts. I didn't even make this. My head did, and I typed it out, and then a computer made it for me. And then everybody started putting in really good ideas. And then one guy was like, you should make a character of me and make his name Doomsday. I'm not going to say who it was. But
what an asshole.
I was like, all right, man, fine. I guess I don't have a choice now. You just threw yourself into my show here. And so I made it. And he's like, I want to be ionized radiation powers. And I was like, okay, fine. Fine, dude. Take it over. I'm kidding. But no, dude, I listened to everybody, and everybody had some really insanely good ideas, and they're like, you should do more with this. And like I was messaging all my friends and stuff, and everybody was excited about it. So I was like, do you want more stuff? And everybody was like, hell yeah. So then I decided to utilize the ChatGPT function and conjure up some ideas. So I started typing out this scenario, and I said, give me a scenario where such and such character does this thing and write it out for me. And then as it would write it out, and I would pick stuff out of the paragraphs that I enjoyed, and I would say, okay, now let's tweak this a little bit. Let's give them some dialogue between this guy and this guy, yada, yada, yada. So I just started tweaking and writing. So it became like this full-fledged story. So now I just started publishing it all on Amazon, and there are 3 episodes up right now that are just character breakdowns of the characters that were made, and I conjured up these stories in my head, and basically these guys have integrated with AI enough that they've become human cyborgs, and I think that it's very clever to also quote unquote integrate myself with AI engines to create a story about people integrating themselves with AI.
So for the record, I did not ask to be the Doomsday character.
I didn't say any names, dude. I said no names.
Is that fucking Walter? Anyway, so moving on. So Jake sent me the pictures of the batteries today, and I got to tell you, it amazed me when I saw it, because I've been thinking about what it is in my head as, reading this storyline and going through it, but then to see it like visualized in this artwork, it's like, oh my God. Like,
right.
It's
and when you saw it, it made sense, right?
Right. But it's something that it's like, oh my God, like this is what they're craving. Like it looks gorgeous. It looks like something you'd want to be craving. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to come up with a whole story for it too, and why it's so important.
It all started with a battery.
It all started with an element. No, legitimately it did. I conjured up this whole idea behind a rare element, and it's only mined in remote areas, and it's very hard to acquire, and there's not very much of it. So trying to replicate it and turn it into a battery source. The good thing about it is that it takes small quantities to make a battery cell, and basically these humans who are using this program, they don't have to eat, they don't have to drink, they don't have to sleep. All they have to do is run basically off these battery cell powers that are made from this element. It's just a random name that the AI generated, and they called it. You can pronounce it 2 ways. You can pronounce it Xeraphium or Xeraphium. I like Xeraphium, but it's whatever. But that is the element, that is the reactive agent that makes the battery cells. And I haven't decided how long the batteries last, but I'm thinking like on like 0 like combat scenarios and just normal everyday stuff, like 30 days. I think that's pretty sufficient. But there's going to be a whole thing that ensues because of these batteries.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm also excited for when we start doing the voice work for this too. That's like something I'm pretty excited about. But let's take a step back real quick, because guys, we covered the Chat GPT on here maybe, what was it, like a month ago? Somewhere around there. We got into that maybe about a month ago. So to go back to the Chat GPT thing, guys, if there's one question I plan on asking Tom Ross this week about that is, when I talked to Tom about this potential AI takeover and, machines will be doing man's jobs, stuff like that. I said, well, where does humans fall into the mix? What is the need for human beings at this point? And his response was, to do the creative things, to write stories, to paint paintings, to write books, things of this nature. Now that I'm seeing
to start,
I guess, because Chat GPT is kind of taking over that and stepping all over this to an extent.
Right now, it's supplemental to. It is, consider it an assistant that you can bounce ideas off of, because that's what I'm doing, is I'm taking my ideas, using that assistant, and refining the ideas.
Right. So you think about this. Let's say you are a factory worker and you put in 50 hours a week and you make brake pads, let's say, just as an example here. Well, okay, they bring you always aspired to be a writer. Okay. And you say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to leave the brake pad industry. I'm going to leave this behind, and I'm going to go fulfill my dreams of being a writer. Mm-hmm. With this Chat GPT, it's going to make your life a lot easier, but it's also going to make everybody else's lives easier too, right? Because you're not going to have to spend weeks writing and proofreading and doing all these things to make this book happen when the Chat GPT is doing this for you. And being that this just became easier for everybody, how much more is the market going to be polluted?
All I'm gonna say is that I don't aspire to be a writer. I never aspired to be a writer. I don't. That's
I'm
like I
not
don't.
saying you.
No, I know. I'm just saying in general. Like I don't mind doing it, but if I were, like, if that was my main thing, if that was where that's where my bag is at, utilizing this, it seems on the surface, because of, you're used to doing it all by yourself and your own research and your own work, it seems like it's a cheat. It is definitely a cheat. Not like, I don't feel like you're cheating. I'm using it as a resource to help refine the ideas already in my head and expand on those. I'm bouncing ideas back and forth. It would be the same exact thing as me sitting down with you and being like, okay, here's the scenario. This guy does this thing. This guy does this thing. What kind of dialogue can we add? But instead of having to go through the process of thinking about it so much and so heavily and wasting gobs of time, I put out those first 3 episodes, and I did all of that in about an hour. As opposed to, if I would have just done it by myself, I would probably get one of those done in a week. That saved me 3 weeks of time.
Yeah, and to me, that's absolutely wild. So is that gonna make it easier for writers to produce, or is it gonna flood the market? Welcome in Crazy, welcome in Kylie, welcome in Crazy Lady and Polly. I think I welcomed Polly already, but welcome in everybody. But you see what I'm saying? How there could be this influx of the market. Now you have all this competition from people that say, never were able to do this because of work or school or family or etc. They weren't able to make it happen. Now they are. So boom, big influx, which I don't necessarily think is a horrible thing, right? But I'm assuming somewhere there's a line between, being a sane concept and, a workable market versus, oh my God, we just overtook the market. There's too much influx. We got too many books to sell.
Yeah, there's a very fine line to walk here. I'm a big believer in everything in moderation, nothing in excess. I'm not personally going to allow an AI system to do 100% something that I enjoy doing for me, because that removes all of the fun and all of the wonder and all of the achievement out of the process, because I wouldn't have done anything. But using it as an assistant in this way to gather ideas and bounce ideas back and forth, I think it's very useful. But we all know that people are going to take advantage, and yes, people are already using things like this to create projects and are already making bank off of it, and they're not doing any work. And if they are, it's a tenth of what it used to be. Just like when we started to integrate computers in general into the workplace, it was theorized that when you work your normal 40, having a computer increases that amount of productivity that you could do. You could wrap up your work week in about 10 hours. So now we're doing way more work for the same amount of pay with 10 times the amount of productivity.
Hey preppers, check out Blackbeard Fire Starters. Go to www.blackbeardfire.com/doomsday and utilize code doomsday for 10% off your entire order at blackbeardfire.com. No, and I understand that. Welcome in Scooter, welcome in Goth King. So, if you guys could take the time and you can go online and you guys can look this stuff up. We're already utilizing a lot of AI now, and we're going to see a big increase in the next decade here. All right. Like a huge increase. This is about to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour overnight. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I know a lot of us kind of don't think about it now, like what kind of AI we use now, but we're utilizing this in forms every day in our daily lives. If you ever talked into your smartphone to get an answer on something, you're pretty much utilizing AI. If you're going to the store and you're utilizing the self-checkout, kind of a form of AI, right? It is escalating and building and getting more to the point where, and a lot of people this still blows a lot of people's minds, but we have cars that drive themselves now, right? when we were kids, we thought, oh man, we might not see that in our lifetime, or that's so far out in the future, we'll never have to worry about that. But now it's a thing, right?
Oh yeah. And now in Amazon stores, instead of paying, you just swipe your hand.
Right. Which I don't like that shit at all.
I don't either.
I don't like that. I don't want chips in me. I don't like the idea of being able to be tracked, being able to be monitored. I just don't like it. Right.
Yeah. I mean, using it as an enhancement to enrich something or to help you to make it better, kind of like in the way that I'm doing with writing this whole series, is I'm using it as an assistant. It's helpful. It's a great tool. It really is. But there are levels to this.
Oh, I understand. And, one other thing, to think about too is, where is AI going to be with medicine? Right. I remember watching videos, I don't know, I want to say maybe 5-6 years ago, where they were talking about being able to remotely perform surgeries, or being able to remotely diagnose patients, being able to remotely take vitals and do all these things. And we're seeing that now.
That's what they're doing now with Web 3.0, dude. It's happening. It's a real thing.
It's scary. And it's only escalating. It's not de-escalating in any way. It's only going to keep going up. And all right, so in EMT class, we have this machine. We put this machine on your body, and this magic machine, and this isn't new technology in the medical field. It's been around, but we have this on the ambulance. We have a machine. We put this on your body, and it constantly monitors all your vitals all the time, to where the moment something goes wrong with you, this machine lets us know. Okay. We also have, and this is something else that's pretty crazy too. So I didn't know this until starting these classes, but not every agency, not every county carries blood on the ambulance or in their vehicles, right? It's not a thing. We recently started carrying blood in our county. Now, our blood that we keep in the vehicles is in a cooler that is remotely monitored by the agency and the hospital that provides the blood. And it is maintained for time. It is maintained for temperature. And it literally will send alarm bells to the hospital that is a good 45 minutes away from the agency. And then to whoever the first responder is that has this, saying, hey, this needs to go back in the fridge, this, that, the other. These are all little forms of this smart technology that we're utilizing every single day. And I guess there is a big difference between smart technology and AI technology.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there, right? We're becoming so dependent on this every single day, and it's only going to get more and more involved, to the point where, we might have digital AI. Ooh, dude, imagine having digital AI bosses in the future, to where you answer to a machine now, because the machine is more efficient at managing Walgreens than Bob was.
It seems scary, but on the other hand, the question is, can you blame them? Devil's advocate, let's play both sides of this, and let's look at it and see if it's a question of maybe utility versus a question of ethics. So everybody would love to be able to do what they do, but enhance it in a way that they can do more of it in the same amount of time, right? Productivity is key. It comes down to money, right? And if you can do one thing, and you can do it well, you can say this can be done better, and you can create something that can assist you. So instead of let's just say you're creating a certain part, just as an example, and you're running a machine and you're doing it by yourself, and you can do 1,000 pieces of this part of this machine. You're running this specific part. You can do 1,000 in an hour. But you're sitting there looking at it and you're saying, why am I here? Why am I pushing buttons at the right time? Why can't we make a computer just do this? So you create the computer. And even though you're eliminating a job, you're increasing the productivity without any manpower. So even though you eliminated a job, on the other hand, as let's say you're looking at it from a business perspective and you're the business owner and you're looking at this and you're saying, wow, that's handy because I don't have to pay that robot to do anything and I'm saving myself 40 or 50 grand a year. That sounds like a good deal to you, right?
Well, yeah, but then also the idea is I don't have to worry about offending this AI technology. I don't have to worry about giving it lunch breaks, smoke breaks, bathroom breaks, vacation time. I could work in more than 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, right?
That robot, no matter what, is going to make 10,000 parts per hour. And you can walk right over to it just because it's a Tuesday and you didn't get your coffee. You can say, hey, robot, your butt looks big. And it's going to keep making 10,000 parts an hour. And you're going to say, hell yeah.
Not to mention, welcome in, sir. I just saw you come in. Not to mention the idea that there's no getting sick. There's no sick time. There's no, the kids are sick. I got to get them from daycare. Or, hey, I can't work late tonight because my son has soccer practice. There's a ton of reasons why I guess the robots and the AI and things would be better than a human. But people still need jobs.
What kind of jobs, though? Because technically, even though I'm doing a lot less work, the stuff that I'm doing, I could get paid for. And I'm just using the AI as an assistant at this point. And I've created vastly much more work in 2 days than I would have by myself on my own in 2 months. And I showed all of that to you, and you remember the text you sent me. You said, man, you've been busy. And in all honesty, I really hadn't. I did probably 50% of it, but the 50% that I did was a lot of opening accounts, doing the appropriate work behind the stuff that was created, because those photos, if I would have drawn them myself, that would have taken me months, absolutely months. And the AI did it in less than 4 minutes.
So Kylie said something in the chat here that kind of like sparked something in my mind. It says, there's a guy who says that he went to the future and no one had jobs. It was all AI. Now, that part isn't the part I'm hung up on. I'm hung up on this idea. Imagine AI discovering things that we can't discover, say time travel, say, I don't know, the cure for cancer, the cure for AIDS, the things that we don't want the answers to, right? Mm-hmm. Who's going to be above AI stopping this? Because on one hand, AI could vastly enrich our lives, possibly cure disease, possibly cure famine, things of this nature, make a better environment for us. But there's going to be people in power that say, nope, we can't allow that.
Hey preppers, do you want 10% off survival food? Go to www.readywise.com and use code DOOM10 at checkout for 10% off all your survival food needs. Again, that's code DOOM10 at checkout at readywise.com, DOOM10 for 10% off at readywise.com.
Who's going to stop it when it gets out of control? John Connor.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, we've seen how this plays out. It's John Connor and Sarah Connor.
Wait. No. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger's character that came in, right, and prevented this. Or no, that was Terminator 2.
That was in 2.
Welcome in, Mike of Tampa Bay.
But, I mean, not to, discredit anything that anybody says. Was that Jelly that said that?
Oh, it was Kylie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I heard the IE and it didn't really process. Sorry. But I mean, it's hard for me to believe the time travel stuff and yada yada yada. I wouldn't be surprised if we have it. Okay, we have our quantum computers, and a lot of people don't even know how those work. And basically, the way that they operate is that they exist in 2 different states at the same time. Right? Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I was taking a drink of water. Okay. I'm not AI.
I need you to be more productive then. So the quantum computers, they take a crap ton of power to process. And when we first made them, computing was restricted to a certain amount of processing power. And in the last roughly 2 years, the improvements that we made to them have increased its computing power by 2,000%. It's insane what they're doing with quantum computing. It is scary. But they exist in this little thing kind of like referred to as a nexus. So it exists in like 2 states. And we found out that certain things like light particles can exist in 2 states, and some things only exist when they are observed, which is hard to explain. But a quantum computer is operating at a temperature that's just a shade above absolute zero. It has to stay that cold in order for it to operate efficiently. Otherwise, it'll blow up. But they're using quantum computing and using all of this information I just gave you about existing in 2 states and observed in 2 places. So they're literally operating in another dimension. It used to just be a thing that we say when like, oh, that dude's just in another dimension right now, when they're doing something incredible or when they're high or whatever. But that phrase is the literal embodiment of what quantum computing is. It is existing and operating in 2 states, and they are using that to communicate with things not of this realm.
What realm are they communicating with?
Who knows? Probably hell. I don't want to deal with it. I no, pass. That's the line I draw when Satan comes out. Pass.
You know, you say that, now my interest is piqued, like, because who knows how many realms there are out there, right?
Probably an infinite amount. If I don't know, depending on how you look at it, it wouldn't shock me if there was just an infinite amount of realms, or that whole multiverse theory that people like to talk about so much. Wouldn't shock me.
No, the multiverse theory is definitely interesting. I subscribe to it, but I think in a very light way. Mainly,
yeah, maybe.
I don't know, because it could happen. We don't know. I'm not there. I haven't crossed the multiverse. It could definitely be there. I don't know. Will we know in 20, 30 years? Maybe that's where we'll go on vacation. Go meet your relatives in the multiverse. Maybe that's what we'll do.
That's what they're probably doing. Honestly, if I had to guess, with a powerful enough quantum computer, is like, why wouldn't you? This is like Earth 1. Like, why wouldn't you try to communicate with Earth 2 and see what's going on over there? And be like, hey, is this Darren from Earth 2? Yeah, dude, what's up? Oh, you guys have a quantum computer. Cool. What's going on over there? Nancy Pelosi's president. Oh shit, what happened? Nothing. She's awesome. Like, just imagine how weird things would be. It's all going to be different,
It'd be a pretty screwed up multiverse.
But maybe in that world, she's amazing,
Maybe, yeah. It very well could be. Anyway, to get into back into the ad topic. So, Scooter did mention in the chat earlier that there's a big difference between smart tech and AI. But and I guess we don't look at these things how we should look at them. So AI basically has the ability to learn and keep going, right?
Not
AI,
sentient, but yeah.
Right. So AI is continuously processing data, continuously, to learn and create algorithms to better do its job. Whether that is your Netflix account and it's picking up on algorithms of things you like, so it's putting in your feed what it knows you want to see, or whether it's TikTok that is doing relatively the same thing, or whether it's Google or Alexa that knows you ask certain questions about so many things that pique your interest, and now they have news feeds that are directly designed for you. You remember about 10 years ago when everybody was, kind of freaking out and bitching about the user agreements and data harvesting and all this stuff?
Oh, yeah.
This is what it has transitioned into. Consistently bringing in user data to make and manipulate algorithms to better suit your needs in life. Because
what? You mean the crazy conspiracy theorists were right again?
Goddamn conspiracy theorist. Yeah, we were.
You guys are quacks, but you've been right every time. How does that work?
I don't know. So check this out. So years ago, it was in the conspiracy theory circle. This is probably like maybe like 15, 20 years ago. There, maybe even longer than that now. Shit, there was this talk about, they all want us to have this RFID chip in our hands, in our pockets, and we're going to track people. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And everybody's like, nah, you're crazy, man. They're not going to do that.
Dude,
now
we all have stuff like this.
I know.
For years.
But the crazy part about this is, this whole thing of like tracking, carrying around chips, all that. I got news for you guys. You're all listening on a smartphone right now. It's right next to you. I know you're on a smartphone because you're on the app and you can comment and I can see you in here. And you're carrying that tracking device around. You're carrying that chip around.
You're all chipped.
Right. It's there right now in your hands. Throw your phones in the fucking toilet. No, don't throw your phone in the toilet. But no, you get what I'm saying. This went from being something scary that was never going to happen to it has happened and you can't live without this device. So what is the next evolution going to be? How are they going to get a chip in us? It's going to be something. It's going to be a situation where you need this to function.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And welcome in Raccoon 6 and welcome in Little Red Jen. Welcome in, guys.
Oh,
yeah.
I disagree, Jelly. That algorithm doesn't know shit about me. You should see my TikTok algorithm. They started feeding me ads in Spanish, in Italian, and French. They have no clue what I want.
They've been listening, though.
No, they have not, because they have no idea. I just downvote everything and swipe through all the stupid stuff.
How many times have you mentioned Italian?
All the time.
How many times have you mentioned Spanish?
I am not fluent in Italian. Why do I want an Italian ad? I don't even talk about French. I don't even talk about anything Spanish.
Maybe you talk in your sleep and it's listening.
In Spanish?
Maybe Dirt Lady talks in Spanish in her sleep.
Oh, she doesn't know any foreign languages. She's uncultured. She's purebred American uncultured cheeseburgers. I'm all Italian food, Olive Garden all day long.
Anyway, so now you're going to get Olive Garden ads.
You laugh, but I bleed marinara, my friend.
Marinara is delicious. I'm actually making rigatonis this week. That's on my list of things to do. Freaking love some rigatonis, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, to kind of keep this going here, but no. So, guys, we've been utilizing these algorithms. We've been feeding this data machine for years, not necessarily realizing we're doing it, but we have been doing it. So basically, what comes next in our lives is, whatever comes our way is kind of our own faults for getting on board with this now.
This is an emergency action message. At approximately 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, NORA is tracking 15 ICBM nuclear missiles inbound to the following cities: Orlando, Miami, Pittsburgh, Dover, Newark, Richland, Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Boston, Seattle, Detroit. This is an extremely deadly situation. Stay tuned. The next emergency message will be a presidential address.